Over 100 years ago, the Demon King led a vast army of demons to invade the divine realm, igniting a great war between gods and demons. The god of fighting, protector of the world, single-handedly held the line and swept away the Demon King. But at the moment when the tide of the world was turning, the god of fighting was struck down by a traitor's ambush and tragically met his end. The god of fighting's soul shattered into 72 fragments scattered across the mortal realm. The Demon King also reversed his own fate, and the great god Shakyamuni had no choice but to exhaust all his divine power to seal away the divine weapons and demon army within his own formation. Without the blessing of Buddha's power from god Shakyamuni, the balance of the 6 realms was lost. All living beings fell into calamity, and only by borrowing the power of the god of fighting could the seal be reopened, humanity saved, and the Buddha's teachings restored. Back in the world at that time, in a thatched cottage, 2 brothers sat anxiously inside the violently shaking house. The older brother grabbed his younger sibling and their few belongings and ran outside, barely escaping disaster. Their father was using his spear to battle a giant monster with rippling muscles. Seeing the ferocious beast, the older brother wanted to help but couldn't, and was knocked away by their father trying to protect them. After several maneuvers, the father managed to push back the monster, then quickly used a talisman to suppress it. The father and sons quickly fled from the monster, traveling to a deep forest where they entered a mysterious cave. Deep within the mountain forest and cave lay ancient ruins that once existed. After a series of actions by the father, the surrounding branches covering the area gradually disappeared, revealing 2 swords embedded in the center. Father and son each grasped one end of the swords and lifted them up. Immediately, the 8 trigrams formation ahead opened to reveal a strange golden box. The father gave it to his son, instructing him to wait until Yuan Sheng grew up before giving it to the younger child, as this was his destined artifact. Those twin blades were the weapons passed down through generations of demon hunters to slay demons and eliminate evil spirits. The father gave them to his eldest son so he could become their master and become an outstanding natural-born demon hunter. Seeing signs of the monster approaching, the father and sons continued fleeing deeper into the tunnel, passing through the tomb of demon hunters. Reaching the end of the tunnel, after a moment, the monster caught up and seized the father. The father immediately used what he had prepared along the way to seal the monster once again. After this strike, the father defeated the monster, but he was pierced through the abdomen by someone else's hand. It was a woman who had been hiding in the barrier waiting for the opportunity to finish him off. Seeing his sons Yuan Zhen and Yuan Sheng still there, the father immediately used his last strength to send his 2 sons away. The woman wanted to stop them but ultimately couldn't catch up, and the father breathed a sigh of relief seeing this. Time passed swiftly, and Yuan Zhen had now become a tall, muscular man, while younger brother Yuan Sheng had also grown up. One night in a house, a demon hunter was hired to deal with a monster in the residence. After flailing about for a while, this demon hunter accidentally cut off the head of the monster Yuan Sheng was disguising as, then was knocked out by Yuan Zhen with one hand. This person was tied up in a corner of the house by the 2 brothers. It turned out he was a fake demon hunter who specialized in colluding with demons and monsters to swindle money from people around the area. Faced with the brothers' threats, he immediately confessed everything, even saying that nowadays people mainly earn money through appearance, and if someone is handsome, people will believe whatever they say. Finished with him, the 2 brothers put the monster's head on the fraudster and quickly left. Returning to their old house, Yuan Sheng recited his name before the altar and performed the coming-of-age ceremony for his brother. Golden light emanated around the room and rushed into the younger brother. When the golden light faded, Yuan Sheng had officially become a demon hunter, though the lad felt nothing much had changed about himself. Only then did Yuan Zhen take out the box their father had left years ago and return it to his brother. Yuan Sheng quickly opened it to find a silver rod inside. Neither brother understood what this thing was for, but since it was something their father left behind, Yuan Sheng happily wore it on his person. Just then, an old man rushed to their dwelling seeking help, saying a fog had risen in his town causing all the residents to disappear. Although Yuan Zhen saw the reward was generous, he still refused to accept the mission, saying it was Yuan Sheng's coming-of-age day and they needed to discuss helping his brother become an adult first. The older brother took out some cards and said these were all useful masters who would help Yuan Sheng become a true man. Yuan Zhen was about to lead his brother away, but the moment he saw a bell fall from the money pouch, he immediately stopped. This thing looked very similar to what appeared when the woman finished off their father years ago. He immediately accepted the mission and led Yuan Sheng to the old man's residence. Both entered, the fog so thick nothing could be seen. The moment Yuan Zhen turned his head, Yuan Sheng had vanished. They had become separated. Yuan Zhen heard sounds from a demon and took out the bell. He wanted to make a deal with that cat monster, saying if it revealed the whereabouts of this divine bell and left the village, he would spare its life. The cat disagreed and relied on its speed to fight the monster. Seeing negotiations failed, Yuan Zhen didn't hesitate to use his full power, easily attacking and making the cat monster disappear. He didn't care about it, but investigated the whereabouts of that divine bell. The cat monster only said it had accidentally picked it up. Hearing this, Yuan Zhen felt disappointed and let it go, telling it to leave quickly. Hearing this, the cat monster immediately lunged in a sneak attack. Yuan Zhen didn't hesitate anymore and completely eliminated it. On this side, the separated Yuan Sheng also had to face another cat monster. Yuan Sheng used the stick he picked up to fight it, while Yuan Zhen just stood at a distance observing his brother. After a bout of fighting, Yuan Sheng's stick had been broken into 100 pieces. At this critical moment, the rod their father left behind transformed into a large spear, helping Yuan Sheng continue. The might of this rod was so powerful that demon hunters everywhere could sense it. Finally, the long spear stabbed straight into that cat monster. Yuan Zhen, witnessing this scene, was also shocked, as this was the first time he had seen another form of that rod. The cat monster was also horrified. Although Yuan Sheng had lost consciousness when using that radiant weapon, he could still maintain connection with the weapon, making him extremely dangerous. The cat monster wasn't dead yet. It wanted to take advantage of this moment to pull the spear from its body and escape. But Yuan Zhen finally appeared to stop it. He once again took out the bell to interrogate, just as he had asked his brother, asking where it had found this divine bell. The cat monster, hearing the bell's sound, seemed to have its soul extracted and obediently answered everything thoroughly without missing a word. Saying this was given to the cat monster siblings by a great personage who said that whenever this thing appeared, the two brothers Yuan Sheng and Yuan Zhen would appear. Yuan Zhen realized this bell had magic power that made others tell the truth, so he continued using it to ask the cat monster about that great personage. Though affected by the truth-telling magic, the cat monster couldn't reveal that person's identity, only saying this person wanted to kill all demon hunters to collect some soul fragments. Right then, the bell suddenly became self-aware and spun violently. It escaped from Yuan Zhen's hand and entered the cat monster's mouth. Immediately, the cat monster swelled up as if about to explode. Yuan Zhen only had time to pull the motionless Yuan Sheng away from this dangerous position. This scene from beginning to end had been observed by two people somewhere outside the world. They quickly got on a teleportation platform and left their location. A moment later, Yuan Sheng gradually awoke from his stupor. Yuan Zhen praised the boy for truly being a very talented demon hunter, and with that magical artifact, his future would be even more expansive. The older brother Yuan Zhen secretly recalled the words the cat monster said before dying, and the doubts in his heart grew larger. Just as both were preparing to leave, in the distance, the man and woman from earlier appeared, calling out to them. A long-haired man named Ashala used his device to verify the identity of both people. After confirming their targets, the two immediately advanced. The masked young woman wanted the two brothers to hand over that magical artifact to them. Yuan Zhen, without many words, immediately identified them as enemies, so he charged forward to attack and protect his brother, but due to internal injuries and the difference in strength, he was quickly knocked far away by the remaining young woman. Faced with the other's supergiant cannon barrel, the two brothers still firmly refused to hand over the magical artifact their father left behind. After a bout of fighting both with hands and words, the one named Ashala slowly advanced to end the battle between both sides. This person healed Yuan Zhen's wounds, then explained the whole story to them. The magical artifact that the father of Yuan Zhen and Yuan Sheng left behind was actually called Shenzhen Iron, also the divine weapon of the god of fighting, the strongest warrior in the 6 realms whom everyone knew. And the two people before them were progressive messengers belonging to the immortal race, one named Ashala, one named Zhu Zioba. To explain more deeply required going back over 100 years, when the god of fighting was ambushed and had to sacrifice himself. His weapon Shenzhen Iron also went missing with no one finding it. Currently, to protect world peace, the immortal race had to find the 72 fragments of his soul that fell to the mortal realm and gather them together to resurrect him and save all deities. And the more favorable condition to quickly gather enough soul fragments was to rely on Shenzhen Iron, using the magical artifact to sense the whereabouts of other fragments. After Yuan Zhen understood everything thoroughly, he wanted even more to use it to find the one who killed his father years ago. So he asked for more details and learned that when the magical artifact Shenzhen Iron was awakened, it would generate intense energy waves shaking the spiritual realm of the entire 6 worlds, perceptible to everyone including demons and monsters. Ashala objectively reminded them that those from the demon race wouldn't spare whoever possessed Shenzhen Iron, and for a mortal to hold such great magical power would not be safe. Yuan Zhen still showed distrust toward them. Zhu Zioba continued persuading that if they couldn't resurrect the god of fighting, the world would forever sink into chaos, and worse, if the demon race opened the seal first, the end of the earth would come, so think carefully. After the two brothers thought about the pros and cons, Yuan Sheng decided to give the treasure their father left to those two. Yuan Zhen didn't blame his brother. Although it was a treasure from their late father, thinking it through, doing so would help them avoid the dangers that magical artifact brought. Facing monsters or demons, he wasn't sure he could ensure his brothers or even his own safety. Just as the two brothers were preparing to leave, Zhu Xiaoba called them to stop and scolded both as fraudsters for daring to give them a fake. It turned out the surprising thing was that when Shenzhen iron was handed to Zhu Xiaoba, it transformed into an ordinary silver rod. But when Yuan Sheng picked it up, it manifested as the true Shenzhen iron. Ashala consulted all documents and concluded that the reason was because Shenzhen iron would sleep for 1,000 years, and only the person with the purest soul could awaken it, meaning the magical artifact had already recognized Yuan Sheng as its master. Out of options, Zhu Xiaoba requested that Yuan Sheng must go with them. Yuan Zhen felt this was unavoidable destiny and quickly agreed with both of them, deciding to form an alliance. After receiving payment from the most recent mission, Yuan Sheng joined everyone in using Shenzhen iron to find the next direction of the soul fragments. Ashala took out an airship to bring all four to the next location. Thus they had become each other's teammates, opening a journey to find soul fragments and resurrect the god of fighting full of thorns and trials ahead. One late afternoon, Ashala's airship named White Dragon continued moving along the path that Shenzhen iron had indicated. Yuan Zhen and Yuan Sheng were eating inside the airship like starving tigers, which greatly irritated Zhu Xiaoba. The two sides argued back and forth, making the meal extremely lively. Outside, on the road the airship was traveling, a woman had collapsed there. Because of her appearance, their airship had to suddenly change course, leading to quite a commotion. When they learned someone appeared in the middle of the desert blocking the way, all four went outside to check. Yuan Zhen, after seeing it was a beautiful girl, immediately rushed out to help. Seeing she was injured, he quickly carried her up, wanting to bring her back to the ship for treatment. Zhu Xiaoba blocked the entrance, saying they couldn't let a stranger of unknown origin enter. After a round of loud arguing, the unfamiliar young woman was finally brought inside the vehicle for treatment. Ashala inquired about the reason for her injury. When she regained consciousness, she honestly explained that yesterday after passing through this area, she was captured by a gang of bandits who wanted to do indecent things to her. After struggling, she escaped, but while fleeing was stabbed through the abdomen with a knife. She managed to flee for a long time before shaking them off. The woman even shed tears and cried, appearing extremely frightened by what she had just experienced. This successfully gained Yuan Zhen's sympathy and empathy, making him want to immediately set out to rescue and avenge the beautiful woman. Zhu Xiaoba, on the contrary, stopped the airship right after finishing treatment, wanting that young woman to quickly leave their vehicle. The young woman then expressed her wish to hitch a ride to Dark Canyon, a location that coincidentally matched where all four were heading. Seeing her curious about them, Yuan Zhen and Yuan Sheng naively explained everything from Shenzhen iron to the soul fragments to her. Zhu Xiaoba hated that iron wouldn't become steel and tried to stop them from saying more. Revealing world secrets meant death. During the argument, they didn't notice the secret smile on that young woman's face. Ashala finally decided to let the unfamiliar young woman hitch a ride to Dark Canyon for one night. Yuan Zhen, fond of girls, asked her name and learned she was called Zaizhu. That night, Zaizhu was arranged to sleep in the same room as Yuan Zhen and Yuan Sheng. Waiting until the two brothers had fallen sound asleep, Zaizhu immediately used magic from her ring, wanting to take away Shenzhen iron. But right then, because Ashala entered the wrong room, she timely prevented this action, though only that one time. The next morning, Yuan Zhen and Yuan Sheng woke up and went to the living room, only to learn Zaizhu had disappeared since early morning. While Yuan Zhen worried about that naive young woman encountering bandits or life-threatening danger, Yuan Sheng then panicked, realizing the Shenzhen iron on his person had vanished. Among the whole group, only Ashala was not very surprised by this development. Elsewhere, Zaizhu was now advancing deep into the forest, wearing around her neck the Shenzhen iron stolen from the Yuan brothers. Going back to the past, Zaizhu walked straight into the bandits' cave, standing before the leader, looking nothing like someone who had been captured, but also not voluntarily. Above the cave, her younger sister Ziyan was tied up. It turned out Zaizhu had another more famous alias, which was the world's #1 divine thief. This bandit gang wanted Zaizhu to steal Shenzhen iron for them in exchange for her sister's safety. Zaizhu initially didn't believe in the legend of Shenzhen iron or the god of fighting at all. She also didn't want to agree because she had taken an oath to wash her hands and hang up her sword. But only when the leader of this bandit gang took out a soul fragment of the god of fighting did she truly believe what they said was real. With just this one fragment, the old man had obtained the power to destroy all of Dark Canyon, and Shenzhen iron was the strongest magical artifact, making him even more desirous of obtaining it to achieve the position of ruling the world. Zaizhu, faced with threats, absolute power, and worry for her sister, finally decided to agree despite her sister's persistent objections. Back to the present, Zai Zhu, holding Shenzhen Iron in hand, was preparing to go there to complete their transaction. On the airship, Zhu Xiaoba furiously scolded the two brothers Yuan Zhen and Yuan Sheng thoroughly for being girl-crazy and naively ignorant of the world. Only Ashala calmly drove deeper into Dark Canyon, then told everyone to quickly get off the vehicle. This person clearly indicated its whereabouts. The location all four needed to reach was Spider Cave, where signals from both Shenzhen Iron and a soul fragment emanated. At this time in the bandits' cave, Zai Zhu appeared here once again. She threw Shenzhen Iron to the leader. As previously agreed, her sister was also quickly returned. Just as both were preparing to leave, the subordinates of the bandit leader blocked their way. The old man broke his word, wanting to keep the two sisters there to do some unconscionable, improper things. Seeing this, Zai Zhu immediately used her ring to attack, escaping the old man's control and retrieving Shenzhen Iron. The subordinates quickly rushed out. Zai Zhu immediately took out Shenzhen Iron, wanting it to extend into a weapon to threaten them. Then, taking advantage of their panic, pulled her sister to flee together. Just when the gate was right in front of them, the younger sister fell down. Zai Zhu ignored her sister's advice and turned back, wanting to pull her along. This action delayed them, allowing the bandits to catch up. This time the bandit gang leader was mentally prepared, so Zai Zhu's attacks had no effect on them. The two sisters were trapped in a barrier. This was power emanating from the god of fighting's soul fragment, so no one could escape. Right then, Yuan Zhen appeared, pressing close to the bandits to protect the two sisters. In the distance, Ashala and Zhu Xiaoba had also arrived. Going back to the past for a moment, although Ashala could know the location of Shenzhen Iron and the soul fragment, because the terrain was complex, the most convenient path couldn't yet be calculated, so all four decided to split up and act to reach the destination. Yuan Zhen, relying on the special scent on Zai Zhu's person, had found with Yuan Sheng the place where the Zai sisters were fighting the bandit leader. Both brothers were extremely indignant about what these bandits were doing, but they needed to wait for the best opportunity before they could act. Below, younger sister Zai Yan had used her own body to protect Zai Zhu from the leader's attack. She was therefore now dying. Right then, Yuan Zhen drew his twin blades to advance and protect the two. Yuan Sheng intended to sneak attack, but was also knocked away by them. After that, Zhu Xiaoba and Ashala also arrived. That young woman used a bullet to aim straight ahead. However, doing so would also hit Zai Zhu and Zai Yan, so Yuan Zhen didn't hesitate to use his twin blades to block this attack. Yuan Sheng also timely ran over to persuade Zhu Xiaoba and explained the current situation. Only then did Ashala consult the data, learning that life absorbed the power of the god of fighting soul and made it materialize into a person with god of fighting abilities, which was why he had such power. Zhu Xiaoba raised her cannon, wanting to attack again, but Yuan Zhen once more blocked her. Yuan Zhen asked Yuan Sheng to take the Zai sisters away first, then pointed his sword toward the bandits. The leader wasn't afraid, at this moment waving his hand for the rest of his brothers to quickly enter battle. The other bandits rushed forward like bullets, but were all blown away from Spider Cave by Ashala's wind current. At the same time, Ashala also used his wind to move Yuan Sheng and the Zai sisters to another corner. While Zhu Xiaoba and Yuan Zhen fought in close combat, Ashala quickly used his power to summon lightning from outside, creating conditions to kill that long-nosed subordinate. With Zhu Xiaoba and Ashala here, Yuan Zhen quickly withdrew his sword and with Yuan Sheng led Zai Zhu and Zai Yan away from this place. On the way, Zai Zhu apologized to Yuan Sheng for deceiving them and also returned Shenzhen Iron to him. Inside, Ashala again used fire, wanting to attack. But this time the bandit leader exerted full force, using the soul fragment for defense. After all, this was power absorbed from a soul fragment. Even if only a portion, it couldn't be underestimated. Facing the enemy's attack, Ashala used a stream of water like a shield for protection. Then Zhu Xiaoba rushed forward, attacking straight at the old man. Seeing him wanting to use water to protect himself, Ashala simply used lightning to shock him thoroughly. Then Zhu Xiaoba also fired a barrage. Thanks to both working together seamlessly like paired swords, the soul fragment also fell from that person. Having obtained what they needed, both quickly left before the cave completely collapsed. Outside, the two brothers Yuan Zhen and Yuan Sheng, along with the two sisters Zai Yan and Zai Zhu, had temporarily gone some distance away from the battle site. But right then, a lackey of the bandit boss rushed out. Yuan Sheng was quick-eyed and pushed this one back. Just as he was preparing to attack the boy, Yuan Zhen quickly rushed out to fight him. Not only using swords, this lackey also used magic to attack, causing Yuan Zhen to fall into a desperate situation. Yuan Sheng charged forward, wanting to block the enemy, but was also quickly beaten by him. That subordinate also used a barrier to trap Yuan Zhen, preventing him from being able to protect Yuan Sheng. Zai Zhu used her ring, trying hard to fight, but all failed. The subordinate possessing power from the soul fragment turned Yuan Zhen to stone to block his steps. Inside the barrier, Yuan Sheng told his brother to take the Zai sisters and leave first. Yuan Sheng punched with his hands but couldn't break the barrier, and was knocked away by that person. Yuan Sheng desperately felt he was truly too hopeless, unable to protect anyone. Seeing his brother crying like this, Yuan Zhen inside tried hard to comfort his brother, encouraging him to keep going and maintain his faith. Right then, Yuan Sheng's tears fell onto Shenzhen iron, making it flash a brilliant golden light. Seeing this, Yuan Zhen immediately told his brother to quickly pick up Shenzhen iron. Sure enough, the moment the magical artifact touched Yuan Sheng, his body changed, his eyes turning brilliant gold. Yuan Sheng grasped Shenzhen iron, successfully using his strength to break the barrier for his brother, then quickly fainted. The enemy took advantage of that opportunity to grab Shenzhen iron, but the magical artifact quickly returned to being an ordinary rod. Yuan Zhen, while the magic was being dispelled, struggled to advance to his brother. The boy had used all his strength breaking the barrier, so he passed out. Just when that person was still struggling to find a way to use Shenzhen iron, Yuan Zhen had regained strength and quickly severed one of his hands. This time Yuan Zhen used full force at high speed, quickly dealing with that ugly subordinate. Though defeated, he also wasn't worried at all, because he was human race, and according to the rules demon hunters couldn't kill humans. This lackey of the bandit boss quickly recalled, feeling Yuan Zhen was the successor of the twin-blade demon hunter. It turned out over 10 years ago, a great personage had ordered the pursuit and capture of twin-blade demon hunter everywhere. He was the one who asked that great personage to kill this person. Yuan Zhen, hearing the term great personage, immediately interrogated, but that person stubbornly wouldn't confess. Right then, a bell rang out, and that person died in an instant. From his corpse fell a soul fragment of the god of fighting. Night fell, and everyone gathered inside the airship. Zai Yan was brought in for treatment, but because the wound was too severe, a Sha-La could only helplessly give up. Yuan Sheng, not wanting to see someone die, quickly ran outside. Zai Zhu was extremely anguished, but right then a Sha-La offered a solution, which was to preserve Zai Yan's soul, waiting for the future to meet the god of fighting again and ask him to use his power to heal her. Only doing so would require finding another body for resurrection. Faced with this situation, Zai Zhu decided to agree with that choice, entrusting a Sha-La to take her sister's soul. Outside, Yuan Sheng sat dejectedly outside while Yuan Zhen quickly went to comfort his brother. Seeing Yuan Sheng had again lost faith in himself, Yuan Zhen returned Shenzhen iron to him, then said as long as Shenzhen iron chose him, it meant he was the person with the most potential. He also spoke about Zai Yan still having a chance to help Yuan Sheng recover his spirits and return to the airship. The sun gradually rose, and Yuan Sheng sat alone recalling the words the enemy said yesterday, secretly determined about his goal. Inside the room, the two soul fragments had transformed into Shenzhen iron, treating it like a container. Just as everyone was preparing to depart, Zai Zhu hurriedly advanced asking to join them. Thus their fragment-seeking team continued on their journey, only this time with an additional new member. The next location where their airship White Dragon landed was in a city called Fire City. Yuan Zhen thought that because of the sudden move to a hot sunny area, Yuan Sheng had gotten sick today, which made him extremely worried. A Sha-La explained this wasn't entirely due to temperature, but because Shenzhen iron had consumed two soul fragments at the same time, it might have caused side effects for its master. Yuan Sheng was experiencing this for the first time, so he had a fever, but he would get used to it later. They were currently coming to Fire City to find the shop of Earth's God Master, buy special medicine to drink, and it would be fine. Because of the hot weather, Zai Zhu changed into a cooler outfit. Yuan Zhen was extremely pleased to the eye, while Zhu Xiaoba just found it irritating. After walking for a bit, they finally stopped at an extremely prominent summer clothing store. The whole group quickly entered inside. A fat old man quickly appeared introducing summer outfits and swimsuits to them. He continuously gave them revealing outfits, making Zhu Xiaoba have to punch him once before stopping. It turned out that because the world was in great chaos, immortals rarely visited, so he also had to change professions to selling outfits that suited tastes. The Earth's god pressed a switch, and the entire store immediately changed appearance, becoming a place selling items containing magic for immortals and humans. Zhu Xiaoba wanted to buy immortal beans. The man immediately took them out for her to stuff straight into Yuan Sheng's mouth. Immortal beans were miraculous beans produced by the immortal realm, helping reduce uncomfortable pressure from magical power overload, having the effect of healing wounds and nourishing the spirit. Yuan Zhen, hearing its miraculous uses, immediately wanted to buy a bag. But here they only used immortal currency, not human money. Moreover, converted it was very expensive, up to over 2 billion regular money, making him unable to buy even one bean, even if he emptied all his assets. A Sha-La quickly used the wealth of immortals to buy a bag from the old man. Zhu Xiaoba asked Old Earth's god about how Fire City's industrial furnace had already been completed, so why was it still so hot here? Old Earth's god explained that due to the great war between gods and demons 100 years ago, a giant meteorite fell from the sky here. From then on, the climate here became abnormal, hot all year round, even getting hotter and hotter. It was estimated to take 300 more years to cool down, making Fire City no different from a new furnace. Moreover, that thing couldn't be closed or sealed, because all of Fire City's energy relied on it for supply. Furthermore, it was now being held by a demon race called Light, the ruler of Fire City, and no one could do anything. Although Old Earth's god was a mortal race, Fire Evil Cloud was a high-grade demon race, controlling fire, so he didn't dare act rashly. Yuan Sheng at this time felt a bit better. Ashala asked him to take out Shenzhen Iron and spin it once. Sure enough, there was a signal of the god of fighting's soul fragment there. Zhu Xiaoba hypothesized that power from the soul fragment had entered that demon race person, causing this matter. Right then, because of spinning too hard, a cord on Shenzhen Iron broke. Skipping the small musical interlude, Ashala and Zhu Xiaoba immediately set out to find the soul fragment. Yuan Zhen, wanting to learn more about the one called the Great Personage, volunteered to go along. Before leaving, Yuan Zhen asked Zai Zhu to carefully take care of his younger brother Yuan Sheng. Scene change, a blonde woman advanced to report the situation to someone sitting in a chair with red hair. This person seemed to be the leader of the demon race, Fire Evil Cloud. After hearing news of Yuan Zhen's group's appearance, he showed great interest. Back to the main scene, all three Yuan Zhen arrived at the gate of a giant building. This place was Light's Tiger Den. Every floor had minor demons. Going highest would reach Fire Evil Cloud's residence. Ashala was still looking for the quickest and easiest way to get up high when Yuan Zhen on this side didn't hesitate to open a path from the first floor to advance in. Right from the first floor, facing them was already a crowd of people in vests with huge numbers blocking the way. At this time at Old Earth's god's shop, Zai Zhu was caring for Yuan Sheng, who was still feverish. Meanwhile, the boy's consciousness was sinking into a distant place, seeing two soul fragments of the god of fighting merging together, also seeing the scene of the god of fighting the demon race, only to be struck painfully from behind right then, his soul fragmenting. At this time before Yuan Sheng again were the two soul fragments everyone had collected together before. This thing seemed to have a bewitching spell. Those who had used it were continuously inviting him to seize this opportunity to quickly become strong and help everyone. Yuan Sheng was indeed swayed, because he truly wanted to quickly become strong to protect everyone. But ultimately he still didn't choose to use it, because he understood clearly that having this power might make him fall. Immediately, the two soul fragments disappeared and a golden light appeared on his chest. The god of fighting's voice rang out, declaring his soul fragment would unite as one with Yuan Sheng, helping him maintain his heart and also granting him the right to use his divine weapon. A moment later, Yuan Sheng finally woke up, escaping from his stupor. Zai Zhu at this time, seeing he had awakened, picked up his Shenzhen Iron and asked Old Earth's god for something. When returning, Yuan Sheng learned Zai Zhu had used spider silk from her silver secret ring to make him a new cord, helping it be harder to break. Back at Fire Evil Cloud's cave, the three Yuan Zhen, Zhu Xiaoba, and Ashala quickly dealt with minor demons on each floor, then went to much higher floors. In the room on the highest floor, everywhere hung picture frames of an extremely beautiful woman. Right then, the leader Fire Evil Cloud also appeared. He only valued Ashala and Zhu Xiaoba, while showing contempt for Yuan Zhen. He had waited over 100 years to meet these two high-grade immortal race members. Fire Evil Cloud smiled, his entire body covered in fire slowly advancing forward. Yuan Zhen quickly drew his sword and charged forward. But his sword strikes were all blocked by Fire Evil Cloud's shield and armor, even being counterattacked. However, his twin blades could block the fire attack from the one before him before being knocked back. Ashala quickly caught the knocked away Yuan Zhen, then used his words wanting Fire Evil Cloud to actively give up the god of fighting soul fragment to make the meteorite completely cool down, bringing stability to all of Fire City. However, Fire Evil Cloud had other plans. He wanted to use the blood of the two high-grade immortal race members Ashala and Zhu Xiaoba to perform forbidden arts. He wanted to launch the meteorite at the immortal palace in the sky, completely destroying the immortal race. Zhu Xiaoba, hearing this, furiously fired a cannon at him, but then was chased by Fire Evil Cloud's own attack. His fire attack caused her cannon to heat up to the point of being neutralized. Ashala using water to lower the fire was also useless. Right then, Yuan Zhen also recovered somewhat. Though not fully understanding forbidden arts, if these two people bled here then Fire Evil Cloud's plan would succeed. So Yuan Zhen wanted to use his own body to protect them both. He drew his sword to defend, creating more time for Ashala and Zhu Zioba to quickly flee to Old Earth's god shop to discuss countermeasures. Currently, this was the most stable measure, so though reluctant, both decided to leave. Outside, the air was getting hotter and hotter. The industrial furnace began spewing lava. It was reactivated precisely by Fire Evil Cloud's 3 flavors True Fire. Yuan Sheng and Zai Zhu were extremely worried for the 3 Yuan Zhen fighting in the distance. Back at Light's building, Yuan Zhen used all his life's strength to attack and fight Fire Evil Cloud. But naturally, one with magic wasn't an easy opponent. Yuan Zhen was quickly beaten back. Both sides fought continuously. Though Yuan Zhen was beaten flat like a cockroach, he still stubbornly persevered without giving up. Just as he was about to be burned by flames, Ashala and Zhu Zioba returned in time to save him. Ashala used ice elemental power to block the strike, then took all 3 away. Only during that he accidentally got injured and bled. So even though they left, Fire Evil Cloud still successfully obtained some of Ashala's blood. He used it to write a formation before the portrait of the woman in the room. Outside, the industrial furnaces began shaking, the meteorite flying upward, showing the forbidden art had been activated. Fire Evil Cloud triumphantly prepared his revenge strike from on high. Zhu Zioba wanted to rush up to stop him, but truly they couldn't be provoked. Immortal race power in the mortal realm only had 5 parts remaining. Even wanting to fight, victory wasn't certain. Ashala thought, what Fire Evil Cloud activated was precisely reverse direction forbidden art. He wanted to push the meteorite toward the Heavenly Palace. But the meteorite had already been in Fire City for many years. Its structure had likely long changed, fundamentally no longer suitable to be a container for forbidden arts. Therefore, according to calculations, before it flew to the Heavenly Palace, perhaps it would disintegrate from being too hot, then would reverse and fall back down to this Fire City once more. Sure enough, it was so. Fire Evil Cloud was shocked witnessing the meteorite pieces flying straight down to the ground, making all the people frightened and fleeing. The situation difficult. Old Earth's god told Zai Zhu and Yuan Sheng to quickly run together to the shelter to ensure safety. But Yuan Sheng at this time turned back. He wanted to pull along a little girl who lost her mother to quickly run with him. But right then, a meteor fell straight down on the building right near them both. Fortunately, Zai Zhu arrived in time, using her own silk to catch the rocks, saving them both. At this time, Zhu Zioba and Ashala carrying Yuan Zhen also returned in time. Everyone quickly gathered at the safe place in the shelter. Yuan Zhen had been fed immortal beans by Old Earth's god. Only the wound was quite severe, so he needed recovery time. So everyone was surrounding, waiting for him to quickly wake up. Right then, the shelter again began shaking, fearing it wouldn't be able to hold much longer. Ashala at this time thought about the problem of how Fire Evil Cloud could control the meteorite for 100 years without exploding. Old Earth's god recalled, it seemed to be a magical treasure called the Frozen Core placed in Fire City's furnace. Only that place had demon race barriers set, so he couldn't sense it here underground at Light's fortress. That was a very difficult place to penetrate, only able to secretly steal. Mentioning stealing, the whole group immediately looked toward Zai Zhu. But Zai Zhu very much refused the matter of stealing. Moreover, because of the oath she made that truly caused younger sister Zai Yan to lose her life, she was even more worried. Old Earth's god hearing this comforted her, saying the oath only came true once, so stealing a second time would be fine. Moreover, the Frozen Core fundamentally belonged to the immortal race. This was just taking back what was lost, not stealing. To ensure safety, Old Earth's god also swore that if his words were wrong, he would be punished 100 times over, so Zai Zhu decided to agree. Thus, in Fire Evil Cloud's nuclear furnace lair, a strictly guarded place, Zai Zhu entered through the pipe up high. She found the camera room, used her spider silk ring to deal with the person inside, finding the place storing the object needing to be stolen. In another room, the seemingly high-grade blonde woman was quickly controlled by Zai Zhu. She asked her about the location storing the Frozen Core. The two fought for a bit, then Zai Zhu won. Inside the shelter, this place was increasingly on the verge of collapse. Outside, Fire Evil Cloud continuously attacked throughout the city, wanting Zhu Zioba and Ashala to quickly show their faces. Zhu Zioba, seeing this, wanted to use her cannon to step out and attack, holding back Fire Evil Cloud, creating more time for Zai Zhu. Ashala also left with her, leaving Yuan Sheng behind with Old Earth's god and everyone. Yuan Sheng looked toward his unconscious brother, looked again at Shenzhen Iron, in his heart as if having a decision. On this side, after a round of interrogation, finally Zai Zhu also knew enough information to reach the place containing the Frozen Core. She quickly went to the deepest floor, but the moment she set foot in, this entire place had switched to attack mode. A machine appeared. It seemed to be the guardian of this entire deep floor. Outside the city was nothing but a pile of ruins. Common people fled in terror, fearing their lives would end right there. Some were lucky enough to survive, but others had already perished. Fire Evil Cloud with flames of hatred went around the city wanting to find those two immortal race members. Going back to the past, he too was once a normal person. By chance he met a beautiful woman and began his love story in this city. They had experienced peaceful days, happy and in love, then married. But then the Demon King led the attack on the immortal realm, ending the era of peace everywhere. War broke out. Meteor showers began appearing in Fire City. Those two people held each other. Fire Evil Cloud comforted his wife. Fire City was fundamentally a neutral zone, wouldn't become a battlefield for supremacy. Moreover, the Fire Demon race and Immortal race had a treaty protecting peace. When that time came, both sides would rely on each other. The Heavenly Court would support them against any attack. Saying was one thing, but then that day also came. Meteorite pieces fell straight down to Earth. Fire Evil Cloud witnessed with his own eyes the meteorite falling straight down where they lived, also seeing other pieces attacking toward their happy home. Back to the present, Ba and Ashala showed themselves confronting Fire Evil Cloud. Both sides began combat. Neither understood why Fire Evil Cloud showed such hatred toward their immortal race. Fire Evil Cloud attacked like a storm, suppressing the advantage of both Ashala and Ba. At the critical moment of life and death, when death seemed near, Yuan Sheng arrived in time, opening a barrier protecting Ashala and Ba safely. Yuan Sheng requested Fire Evil Cloud stop this meaningless battle. The people and city were suffering disasters too severe already. Only then did Fire Evil Cloud look around the city. The place once peaceful was now destroyed as if about to become final ruins. After all, what meaning did revenge have? However, hatred blinded his eyes. Fire Evil Cloud couldn't easily set everything aside like that. He hated the immortal race for breaking faith and promises, because when Fire City was attacked, the immortal race didn't fulfill their promise to protect them. Also, the moment witnessing his wife's death was when he found the god of fighting's soul fragment and obtained true power. It was what made him change. Fire Evil Cloud believed Fire City's current meaning was only to carry out his revenge against the immortal race. Only then did Ashala understand the reason for Fire Evil Cloud's hatred. It turned out that year the Demon King wanted to use forbidden arts to destroy the immortal palace. To protect the Heavenly Court from being struck by meteorites, they borrowed the power of great gods to create a protective force field, changing the meteorite's trajectory, protecting the immortal palace, but also causing it to redirect and fall to the mortal realm. Yuan Sheng was horrified at what he heard. Fire Evil Cloud, also remembering that matter, became even more resentful toward the immortal race. He released a fire strike wanting to finish off Ba, but Yuan Sheng timely opened a barrier protecting her. Though very frightened at the truth just now, he still believed that if for revenge this city sank into calamity once more, then actually Fire Evil Cloud and those despicable immortal race people weren't any different. Fire Evil Cloud, hearing what he was told, became even more frenzied. He darkened into a monster, wanting to kill all immortal race to offer sacrifice before his deceased wife's departed soul. Yuan Sheng was knocked far away by one strike from this monster. On this side, Zaiju had been able to deal with that robot guardian. She wanted to take the frozen core, but it seemed this thing had another protective layer much more difficult. Whatever touched it was frozen instantly. Back above the city, Yuan Sheng had timely used a barrier, so was still fine. Only exhausting stamina, so didn't have enough strength to continue fighting anymore. Fire Evil Cloud at this moment wanted to attack, but then a stream of ice energy appeared, making him stop. It seemed Zaiju had succeeded. However, Fire Evil Cloud, after knowing their true purpose, became even more enraged and continued attacking. A large fire explosion rang out. Fire Evil Cloud, after attacking, quickly left, wanting to find the frozen core again. Yuan Sheng timely used a barrier protecting the whole group. He wanted to follow, protecting Zaiju to save everyone. Ba and Ashala couldn't fight further, but Ashala had left Yuan Sheng his last bit of spiritual power to bring him where he needed to go. On this side, Zaiju was finding a way to take out the frozen core when loud sounds came. She could only hide in a corner, but the arrival wasn't Fire Evil Cloud but Justice Demon. This one used his magic to easily obtain the frozen core. Fire Evil Cloud only then arrived in time, demanding Justice Demon quickly return it. Both sides fought an earth-shattering battle. Justice Demon's target wasn't only the frozen core, but also the soul fragment on Fire Evil Cloud's body. Thus, after a moment of fighting, Justice Demon successfully pierced through Fire Evil Cloud, eliminating him. The soul fragment was quickly taken out. Justice Demon had obtained it, putting it in his box. Outside, the meteorite was preparing to fall on the city. Right then, Yuan Sheng arrived in time, using Shenzhen Iron to knock away the box in Justice Demon's hand, also absorbing all the life force on his body to attack. Just when Justice Demon was preparing to attack him, Zaiju ran to in time to pull him out. Justice Demon didn't hesitate to cut off his own hand to prevent Shenzhen Iron's erosion, then immediately left. The situation was critical. Fire Evil Cloud with a bit of breath remaining reminded them to smash the frozen core to block the meteorite. Yuan Sheng immediately used Shenzhen Iron to follow through. Sure enough, in an instant, this entire place was frozen, including the falling meteorite. The city escaped being devastated by meteorites a second time. Fire Evil Cloud held the wedding ring in his hand, apologizing to his wife for not being able to avenge her, then also quickly passed away. Yuan Sheng, after trying his utmost, finally collapsed in Zaiju's arms. Though exhausted, at least they had protected Fire City. A new day arrived. The airship began moving again. The next location was Shaxia River, where Yuan Zhen's wounds could be completely healed. He didn't want to rest, but faced with beautiful girl Zaiju's words, immediately obeyed, lying down. Ashala mapped out the next plan. They would go to Shafu town first, then to Shaxia River. After a period of traveling, they arrived at the place. Only everywhere was desolate without any people, even more ruined than Fire City. Right then, the airship sent out a malfunction signal, so everyone could only temporarily stop. Yuan Zhen and Yuan Sheng felt Ashala seemed to have some very heavy concerns. Zhu Zioba only explained, many precious ores were born from the quicksand area. Shafu town was also once a bustling trading area with people coming and going. Ashala's old team also once stationed in this ore area. If not for helping Yuan Zhen heal wounds, he would never return to this place. Zhu Zioba said no more, so the three Yuan Zhen, Yuan Sheng and Zaiju could only gossip and randomly guess. Yuan Zhen immediately felt, since they were all men, they must help Ashala resolve the knot in his heart. Yuan Sheng, seeing this, went along with him. Zhu Zioba, wanting to object, couldn't catch up. Outside, Ashala was repairing the engine when Yuan Zhen advanced, wanting to assist. No matter what he said, Ashala didn't open his mouth half a word about himself, only discussing the problem the airship was facing, wanting to go to the nearest ore mine to find crystals so the airship could operate again. Yuan Zhen continuously comforted, wanting to solve the problem and console, but Ashala said this wasn't something outsiders needed to worry about, then quickly left. A fragment of Ashala's past opened. Back then, he and his teammates received a mission to investigate an ore mine that lost contact, suspected due to demon race involvement causing trouble. Their teammates all actively discussed, moreover were extremely close with each other. Currently, Ashala walked around the town, walking while recalling old memories. On the ship, Yuan Sheng worried because Ashala still hadn't returned, wanting to find him. Only Yuan Zhen was still sulking about earlier. Zhu Zioba used machinery on the airship to locate where Ashala was. She also said Yuan Zhen shouldn't speak of Ashala like that, because he had already experienced very terrible things. Outside, Ashala, like the past, once again entered the ore mine, only this time entering alone. In the past, teammates had entered inside and only saw blood, didn't see corpses or any breath of life. They went before the pit mouth leading to the underground mine. Below, there were still obvious life reactions, though the situation was very difficult to determine and safety or danger unclear. Ashala, in his position as team leader, still decided to have the whole group step inside this pit mouth. Under the pit mouth, workers who were once human race had for some reason become zombies, continuously attacking them. All could only fight to open the way forward. At this time, one team member was severely bitten. Everyone quickly caught this person to continue going forward. They found a control room to temporarily shake off the monster horde. A team member with ability to use machinery quickly connected to the network, calling for outside rescue. But in a place they didn't know, a strange barrier had been operating. After a moment's rest, the zombies outside suddenly disappeared without sound, and reinforcement from their machinery also sent notification of arrival. Everything seemed to become too easy to the point of being unbelievable. Sure enough, a second later, from the wall on the other side, a monster appeared. It with one hand killed the technology specialist member just now, then continued attacking. Zhu Zioba told this story to everyone. Yuan Zhen realized that monster was precisely a corpse-eating beast, a type of demon beast from the demon realm specializing in eating corpses to live. Bloodthirsty and cruel, high combat power and immune to magic, couldn't be casually killed. A monster living in darkness. After the Great God-Demon War, the demon race was placed under house arrest. All paths to the demon realm were closed by the immortal race. No demon creature could freely move about, so the corpse-eating beast's appearance was extremely strange. Zhu Zioba was about to continue telling when the machine notified it had located Ashala. Inside the mine, Ashala was collecting crystals when he accidentally found an 8 trigrams formation, also the formation that opened the path to the demon realm. Something paid for with immortal race blood. Only then did he realize it was precisely because of this thing that monsters appeared here that year, and his teammates were precisely sacrifices for that formation. This time Ashala stepped in. The corpse-eating beast once again appeared before him. Ashala resentfully summoned his weapon, preparing to fight to the death with it. The past story continued. All team members were knocked away by the corpse-eating beast monster. Ashala could only use magic to make a shield, bringing everyone to a safe place. However, everyone in their team couldn't hold on. The last remaining member with a bit of breath tried hard to advise Ashala to quickly flee, bringing news outside to find solutions, completing the mission. Ashala tried hard to fight, but it had no effect. That year, that last member used his own body to protect him safely leaving. Back to the present on this side. Ashala had fought the monster to unconsciousness. He met his old teammates again in dreams. They all advised him to continue living instead of carrying hatred or torment. The moment he woke up, Ashala was amazed seeing Yuan Sheng was there. In the distance, Yuan Zhen, Zhu Zioba and Zai Zhu were fighting together with the corpse-eating beast. Ashala calmed down, giving instructions for Yuan Sheng to use a barrier shortly to protect everyone. Then he went forward. Immortal race blood could imprison it once more. Yuan Sheng, realizing Ashala wanted to sacrifice his own body, like his teammate years ago, immediately ran to prevent it but failed. On this side, the three were still trying hard to fight though not achieving any results. Only then did Ashala slowly advance, wanting to self-destruct to protect everyone. Right then, Yuan Sheng followed his words, opening a barrier. But he didn't only protect everyone but also expanded the barrier all the way to Ashala to stop his action. Yuan Sheng used Shenzhen iron to open a large hole from underground to above. Sunlight finally entered inside the tunnel, burning that corpse-eating beast. Ashala and everyone were joyful because finally they could eliminate it. Late afternoon, Ashala erected a tombstone for his old teammate brothers, then quickly turned back to the airship, continuing the next journey with new teammates.